What's up, everyone? Can you hear me? Well, really baggy t-shirt. um, I'm actually, whilst I'm doing this video, I'm listening to J. Cole's new album, or I think it's anniversary album, and I think it's the which one was it? I actually double check, but they have a now second CD on his new album. Fuck, let me check it. So it's actually, I just looked at it. It's a Forest Hill Drive album, which I think he released in 2024, and it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. All right, I'm gonna go through some shoulder flexion, no flexion, extension drills, exercise that will put my shoulders through a length, and then I will add some stress. So here, you can see my shoulders are pulled together. I'm gonna have a slight bend in my elbows. I'm squeezing my ass and I'm just pulling downwards. As I'm pulling downwards, I'm trying to pull into my hammies and I'm actually engaging my chest here. I can feel my chest squeezing and feel my chest at length through attention. I just go through like 8 to 12 repetitions, 6. I know my body somewhat reasonably well. So I kind of know where is my end point. So after that, I'm actually gonna need this. I'm gonna go through a shoot range stuff through shoulder flexion. I'm gonna do some 6 to 8 repetitions with 5-second isometric holds. So it doesn't matter. To be honest, I can sit and do this exercise as well as I can be in my kind of like in that hip extension. Even it gets quite challenging. You can place your knee at the front. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to not be in that elevation. I try and pull my shoulder blade down. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do one more exercise that will move through my internal and external rotation. However, I'm gonna be working through internal rotation by letting my band pull me through my external rotation. So we're going to adjust the bands somewhat at the bottom of the rig. Going to adjust the bench. Oh, this song is so sick. You cannot hear me, hear the music, but it's a pretty dope song. Okay, so you're gonna have to look at me from the front. I'm gonna explain to you what I'm doing right now. All right, so okay, this band is pretty fucking thick. It's pretty okay actually for me. So I'm gonna grab it like this. I'm gonna make sure I have a 90-degree angle from my elbow. I'm gonna place this hand behind me just to ground myself. And then I'm gonna let the band pull me downwards. So again, you want the force to be coming or moving your shoulder, not your shoulder, your arm downwards. So here, chest up, pull my shoulder blade down. And I'm gonna rotate. 1. Slow, controlled. And you want to make sure that your elbow is in one line with your shoulder. You don't want to be here, okay? Or you don't want to be, oh, this is actually okay. These are just simply different zones. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And I'm constantly pulling my shoulder blade down. 4, 5, 6, 7. No. And now we'll do the same thing with my left side. However, I'm not gonna record every single fucking set because you're gonna get bored. You're gonna get very bored. So I'm gonna just do first round of each exercise so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll let you know how many rounds I've done. Let's fucking go, motherfucker. Through a next drill. It's kind of like, it's a complex drill. I think it really shows how well your shoulders move through a kind of, I would say, extension and through some external rotation. But I wouldn't say this drill is kind of like needed, but it's good to go back to it from my point of view and just see how well my shoulders move and how well I can press from behind the back shoulder press, deficit behind the back shoulder press. So what I like to do is I like to just find a zone, maybe go a little bit wider, that allows me to move down. So even holding this bar like this, I feel a nice stretch by my hands. And then I push my shoulder blades together and down, and then push up. And again, I'm pulling my shoulder blades downwards, so down, nice and controlled. I try and engage my glutes and my core as I'm moving down. And of course, you can start loading this drill, but from my point of view, you don't really need to load it unless, can't think of any sport that this would be really needed to load up to. But just doing a barbell weight like this, moving through motion, allows you to recruit certain muscles in your back efficiently. So here, pulling my down, and I'm really feeling my lats working. My scapula, of course. Well, all the area, I don't really, I'm sure there's way more muscles working than that. Oh, I lost the count. Let's do 2 more. And I just do this till close to fatigue. It does look quite impressive when you do this with a load, but I mean, I've done it, and it would be purely ego-driven drill or ego-driven loading. And yeah, but next I'm gonna be doing some stability drills. So I call it windmill reaches down, or windmill, because there's different types of windmills you can do it. Gonna grab it and push a guy above my head. So as I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna keep my right leg, in this case, straight. So as I'm going down, I'm pulling my shoulder blade, not shoulder blade, I'm pulling my shoulder blade down, and I'm trying to reach all the way down and then slowly come back up. Again, keep my feet hip width apart. I'm pulling my shoulder blade down, extending my right knee, and I'm trying to hinge back whilst maintaining the controlled rotation. And just move through the motion. I always try and keep my eyes, the beginning, eyes on my kettlebell or on the weight or dumbbell. 4, 5, 1, and 6. On the other side. If you need, you can rest. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, I'm gonna stop it now because there's fucking music in the background. It's loud. Okay, I've done this is my second round. It's fucking loud, so I didn't record much. It's still fucking loud. So I'm gonna do 3 to 4 reps per side. Try and be strict bicep curls, alternating it. So as I'm going in, I'm trying to keep my shoulder blade in place. These are not easy. I'm allowed to use a little bit momentum if needed. That's it. Oh. Today's actually my training session, second training session. The first session is kind of my main session, but it's so fucking busy at the time I train in the morning that I tried dividing my training into two sessions. Today's kind of like, this is kind of accessory work. I'm still working through somewhat strength. This one's feeling way better. And what I'm doing, I'm actually squeezing the dumbbell. My forearm. Okay. Even negatives. Hard. Fuck. Oh, fuck. My grip. Let's do it again. The center is so hard now. Oh, you can't. Excuse one more. One more. Oh, I could have done more with forearms. I don't have it any clean. By the way, I'm drinking water from Kintamani. Fuck. One thing today, I was doing my first YouTube video on iPhone, and as I finished recording the last video, I looked at it to check it if the microphone was working, and for 5 minutes I was talking deep. I was fucking talking deep, and the microphone was off. I was so gutted. I'm sure anyone has had that moment when you create something or try to create something, and you are coming out with such a spot on articulation and such a simplicity and such a you like extract the data, the information in such a well way, and then afterwards you're like, fuck, this is going to be a great video, and then you realize that you didn't record it or you had no memory, or your microphone was off and you couldn't hear anything. But this is the view from my place in Bali, which is absolutely fabulous. But no, I wanted to finish off the video with what I was talking about earlier that I didn't record, is how we humans tend to forget how privileged we are to some degree, and anyone that have a fortunate
starting point, the way you look, the environment you was brought up, the family you was gifted with, or I'm talking about from a good perspective or from a good starting point. Whereas I didn't have that. I had a broken starting point. I didn't really have a good starting point that allowed me to learn or have someone to learn from as a mentor, as a role model. It was opposite for me. I learned what not to do through seeing certain individuals in my past hurting people and so on and so forth. But anyway, going back to how we tend to forget about the the gratitude of making the choices that made us who we are. And of course, I'm speaking from my experience, and I feel like I have made pretty solid choices, and I'm not exactly where I want to be. Pardon me, I'm having some gut burping. But I definitely can see a vision. I can see a plan. I can see a potential future that will manifest sooner or later, and I wake up every single day pinching myself literally how grateful I am to become who I am and to create and build the foundation or the home I have or I am. And like, my upbringing was far from perfect. Picture this, right? Being brought up in lower the middle class, so somewhat poorish environment. We had a home, but in home we didn't have a bathroom, and we had we had 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, and 1 kitchen, and in the kitchen, and we had one toilet. And kitchen was like made from stove, like you get this metal stove, and you put like, instead of gas, we didn't have gas, we had everything, all the heating was from a wood, so we had a chimney, so we put the wood in there to warm up, because like winters in Latvia was fuck. When I was living there, I experienced as cold as averaging -15, going as cold as -25. I think that's the coldest I've experienced. And this is pretty crazy. Like, if it was below -24, we still had to go to the school, which is madness. But yeah, so me coming from a environment or from a family that didn't have food, but we figure out, my grandparents figure out how we could survive by, we have garden, so we were growing strawberries, we were growing potatoes, carrots. My granddad, he was a hunter, so well, he wasn't full-time hunting, but he was a lorry driver, but he did this hunting quite often when he was at home. So he was hunting wild pigs. So there's like, we didn't really need a lot of money for food, because we found the ways to exchange our harvest, or our vegetables, fruit, with someone else's, that what we didn't have. But yeah, bringing up my past, and picture this as like having to be surrounded by alcoholics who beat up your female in your family or part of your family, and imagine happening this every week almost of the whole year, or every other week, minimum of 2 times, 3 times. I mean, minimum 3 times a month, and whenever that individual was at home, and being surrounded by alcoholism, and I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming the previous generation and then the generation before that. So it's like, it's such a generational thing. It's the person who was doing these horrible things didn't know what else to do, right? There's a programming that that person knew. It's the only thing he knew. The person never experienced love. The person never experienced joy from their parents, you know. So it's just like such a weird fucking environment, and because you cannot get mad at them, but then you are so mad at them because they're just hurting you, you know. But like, anyways, fast forwarding, you know, I had to, in order to shower, I had to either go into this metal big bath outside, and we had to fill in water with hot water kettle, and that was a long time to heat, or I had to go and shower at my neighbors, and some days I didn't shower for 4 or 5 days. It's fucking wild. And but like, me coming out of that environment and learning things from it, and knowing where I am because of my choices, I'm so grateful. And I know there's people coming out way worse situations than I have been, but like, someone's trauma at that point, for instance, you know, someone's getting raped versus someone's getting punched in the face at a certain age, the level of trauma can be equally damaging, right? Yeah, it's just I was saying, and trying to expand and extract and you know, build the gratitude for who I am and where I have come from. Fuck, hopefully this is actually working, the microphone. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of take a moment to make you sit with your character that you have built, and you know, sit with gratitude, and you know, wherever you are right now listening to this, be grateful, because you are where you are because of your choices. And if you're not happy with that choices, then the only way to change that state of mind is by making choices that will potentially, or the odds will favor in your side of, you know, building health, building physical health, mental health, building resilience, building wealth and abundance of wealth. You need to move towards that side, or lean towards that side that has higher probabilities to give you this. And yeah, it's this is what you have to do in your life if you want a life that brings you joy, brings you satisfaction, brings your experience, that you see it as a you know, a movie type of shit. I'm thirsty. Your answer, this water actually tastes sweet. From fucking Kintamani, bro. It's straight from the mountains. Anyways, I am going for food now. I am grateful about me and about you and about wherever this video will lead us. Okay, peace out.